Okay, guys, we're going to go visit Ask Scruff in the Discord. This is a question for Casper. Little salute to you. And it's kind of on extra checks and balances, that sort of thing. So if we come into the Discord, if you're a Plus member, you get to come down into here where you can go to Ask Scruff. And the question we're looking at here is Casper's. Okay. I know I've mentioned about extra checks on the sheet. What advice would I give doing an extra checks in a balanced way? Well, checks and balances should be on your charts, whether you're looking at it through, well, the way I do it, by putting it all on a spreadsheet, or by just looking at multi-time frame analysis. Basically, what you're trying to do is come to a decision and then have something to complement it. That's what it is. And if you haven't been here before, these guys can ask me whatever. It's like Jay was asking about stops, one thing and another, and in this, and there's various videos on it that we did through the day. Haircut here asked for pound Aussie. Now, if you do it on a tracker, what that means comes over into here, and I'll track it. So I'll do a breakdown of what the product is. So that is there, starting to explain how to mark it up, what it is I'm looking at. And then through the day, I'll track it to the point when it can be traded. Okay. And then down here, work everything out. And then there we go. We worked it down into a scalp. So it's all done before I've gone to market. It's very easy to say I did this after. They tell me the chart and I just say what I'm going to do with it. That, I think, is fair, because then there's no cherry picking whatsoever. And I'm literally going to live and die by the chart. Guys can compliment to that. But what we're talking about today is checks and balances. So if I'm looking at something like this, now what this is a visual representation of the way I look at a chart. And I must stress that. I look at the chart first, and then I just plot information on here and it highlights it for me and it puts it into a visual check so that I can see exactly what it is that I'm after. Now, it is a scoring system, and I look at various different bits and pieces, and then it grades the trade to help me with my targets, etc. But it all comes from the chart in the first place. You've got to be able to read a chart. It's something that you need to do. Now, there is a version of this that the guys use, and it plugs in exactly the same data. So what I'll do is I'll look at the one that I'm looking at this morning. Now, this is predominantly told me to sell it, all right, or I'll sell it as a scalp. But I could be on the fence, and that's where the extra checks and balances comes in. Now, what you do with the checks and balances, and I'll just kind of show you a change, see how it changes. This is telling me to scalp it on a sell. Well, the checks and balances is looking at an hourly, and it's looking at a 15-minute. Now, what you might do is say, well, on the hour, I want to see strength. I want to see some strength. So I've got this automatically set for this section here to show me strength. So if you're looking at a chart, that strength could come from a Bollinger Band, it could come from a MACD for general direction, whatever. All right, but that's where you want to see your strength, and you want it in the same direction as your overall view. And then just to counterbalance that, drop it down into a 15-minute, but then have something that's got momentum in it. That'll be something like your oscillator. It can be a stochastic, an RSI, CCI, money flow index. It doesn't matter, but it's something to counterbalance. Because if you have two things that are showing strength, well, they're not really doing anything, are they? So you want one with momentum and one with strength, okay? And they balance each other out. Now, what it also does, it shows that the general direction you've already come to is in play when you're wanting to go to market. Now, what it'll do here, so for argument's sake, I've got this automatically set to do it, but you can actually do it on a manually if you want. But this one, that looks at this section here because that's what my hourly strength is. And this one looks at this section here, which is my 15-minute momentum. Now, they're out of whack. Okay, but let's just say the momentum has shifted back to a sell. It's now changed this altogether. Not only has it changed the dynamic of the now, it's actually changed the grading as well. It's took it away from being a scalp into a day trade, but it's now just advising me to wait, and it's waiting because I'll just wait for the 5 minutes to catch up or show signs. So when it comes to checks and balances, look at your chart, get your general direction in place. All right. I want to buy this today. I want to sell this today. Fine. Is everything lining up? Yes, it's pretty good. But now you need to get into the nitty gritty just to make certain that you are pretty much on point. And that's where the extra checks come in. So look at something on an hourly, look at something on a 15 minute. And if them two are in alignment with your general idea, well, that gives you a little bit extra edge as to what you're looking for. And then when you do go to market, gives you that little bit of confidence. Now, the waiting on sort of what I was just doing there to tip the edge over, it's only about 4%. It doesn't add a great deal to it. But what it means is if you're sitting on the fence between a day trade and a scalp, the extra checks will tip the balance in favor one way or the other. And then that means you can target appropriately. Hope that helps. Catch you soon.